Welcome to Mary's Stitching Corner. My name is Mary and this is my channel about cross stitch. Welcome. If you're new, welcome. I hope that you enjoy what you see and that you will hit like and subscribe. And if you are returning, welcome back. It's always a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for joining me to check out what I've been working on since the last time. So it's been about 6 weeks, I think, since my last video, and so I've got quite a bit to show you. I've got 8 finishes, 3 new starts. We can talk about Whipgo for March and April. We can have a look at my WIPS, talk about my plans, and then a little bit about life at the end. I'm not going to do books today because I wasn't planning on a video today, and unexpectedly I had the house to myself and just kind of grabbed everything, put it all together. So I feel like I'm very unorganized, but I wanted to get a video done while I could. So we'll do books next time. But anyway, thanks for joining me and let's get started. So we'll start with my finishes. These are pretty much all smalls, but it's always nice to have the finish. So the first one I'm going to show you is by Pigeon Coop Designs, and this is called Blizzard Valley. This is from the Cross Stitch in the Forest book, and I love these. I've been kind of obsessed with stitching these, and so I have quite a few. You can see I've marked off quite a few pages that I'm going to be working on a lot of these charts, and so yeah. So this first one is from that book and it's called Blizzard Valley. And I stitched this on 18 count white Ada. So this was the very first Pigeon Coop design that I stitched, and I just love these designs. I love the colors. I love everything about them. I used the called for DMC floss. And my next finish is another one of his designs, and this one I stitched along with Karen, the stitching owl. She and I are stitching a lot of these together. And also Connie. Connie, I forget your Instagram page, but she stitched along with us too. And this is Fox and Butterflies from that same book, using the called for DMC, and I stitched this on 18 count Ada also. I love this. And then the third one that I finished is also from the same book. And this one is called Rowdy J, and Karen and Connie and I stitched it together. And this time I was going to stitch this on white Ada again until I realized that there was a lot of white here that wouldn't show up. So I had this fabric lying around for a few years and I never knew what to stitch on it, and I thought that maybe it would look good with this, and I really like how it turned out. It's a fabric flare 18 count that I got on dovestitch.com, but I do not remember what it's called. I tried to find it on Dove Stitch again, but I didn't see it. But I really like how this stitched up on it. So that's the third of my pigeon coop designs that I finished. My next finish is by Primrose Cottage. And it's Valentine's Day Quaker. And this is stitched on 18 count Ada using the called for floss, which I want to say maybe it's Classic Color Works Watermelon, but I can't remember for sure. So I really enjoyed this, and now I want to do some of their other Quakers. But even though this is small, there was a lot more stitching than I realized, but I really enjoyed it. I know they have quite a few Quakers. I think they've got Christmas and winter and July 4th, autumn. So anyway, I definitely plan on stitching some more. So this one is Summer Breeze by the Prairie Schooler. And this was called as one of my Whipgo numbers for March, and I was able to finish it. So this is part of a season. So you have all 4 seasons, and this was the last one that I needed to finish. And this is it's 18 count Vintage Country Mocha. So I've really enjoyed these. I love Prairie Schoolers designs. I think I've got a Thanksgiving one to do, which I'm not sure if it's part of a series or not, but that's on my to-do list. This one is called Lucky Notes by Shepherd's Bush. And I've been stitching a lot of these notes. I want to say maybe I've done 5 or 6 before this one. And I think I have one more, but I know that there's more that I don't have that I would like to stitch. These are really fun. So this is stitched on 32 count Lugana from Bestitch Me, and I can't remember what the name is. And I substituted almost all the floss for this one. But I really like how it turned out. So this is a freebie from Owl Forest Embroidery. And I stitched this along with Devi. Glitter Dove Fairy on Instagram, I think. Hope I got that right. And then there were some other ladies on Laura Stitching by the Shores Facebook group that stitched it also. So this is my finish. It's called Let It Snow. And if you go to Owl Forest Embroidery and go to their free charts, you will find it. And this is just, I think it's an 18 count blue Ada that I had lying around. I want to say I stitched this with 9 DMC 930 maybe, and then I added some beads for the snowflakes. And as always, I put my own touch onto every one of the things that I stitch and mess it up and have to move things around. And I definitely got off on this one somewhere and had to adjust things, but I think it turned out okay. And then my last finish is from Dimensions Gold Collection. And it's part of the Christmas Village Ornament series. Well, they're all in a kit. There's 6 ornaments in there, and this is the 3rd one that I've done, and now I'm taking a break. I'll probably do the others because I think they're really cute, but they're like any Dimensions kit, they're intense. So I was just ready for a break, but this is the one that I finished. And it's using all of the kit threads and fabric. And so these are the 3 that I've done so far. I really enjoy them. I just need a break. I get bored stitching the same kind of thing a lot, and even though each design obviously is different, there's enough of the sameness to make me kind of bored. But in a few months I'll probably want to start one again. Okay, so those are my finishes, and I had 3 new starts, all of them stitch alongs. No, 2 of them are stitch alongs. So the first one that I will show you is the one that isn't a stitch along, and it's by Stitchrovia. And it's called Arctic Animals. And Helen D stitched this, which is where I saw it for the first time, and I just loved it. I love the colors. So I started it. I don't have a lot done, but I'm enjoying it. So again, this is 18 count Aida, white Aida. I'm using the code for DMC, and this is how much I've got done. So I haven't pulled it out a lot, but every once in a while when there's a challenge that it fits, then I will pick it up and stitch it. And I also, when I pulled it out today, I realized I'm stitching it in the wrong direction of the fabric. So luckily it's going to be okay, because I gave myself a 3-inch border all around, and this will just bring it down to a 2-inch border on the top and bottom. But yeah, it should have been going, this should have been the top and bottom, and anyway, you know what I mean. So thankfully it's going to be okay, but I really should double check that. Okay, so that start is not very big. It's 114 by 76. And this is the first Stitchrovia chart that I've worked on. The second new start I'm doing with a bunch of friends, and it is a chart by Durene Jones called Butterfly in Flowers 2. You can get it on her Etsy shop, and this is it. I think the colors are just gorgeous in this. and I don't have much done. So this is 18 count Silver Mist. I think it's a very, very pale gray. And this is full coverage, so you're not going to see the fabric when I'm done, but I'm using all the called for DMC, and I'm stitching this along with Laura at Stitching by the Shore, another friend of ours, Karen, and then Karen, the Stitching Owl, Amy, Renewing Stitches. I think that's it. If I've forgotten somebody, I am sorry. But I've wanted to stitch on this more than I have, but yeah, I've just been, Whipgo and challenges have pulled me in another direction, but I really want to pick this up and get more work done on it. So I think Amy and Karen are only stitching the circle. So you can see the butterflies in that circle, but I'm stitching the whole thing and Laura's stitching the whole thing. So all right, and my last start is Cabin in the Woods, and I'm sure you've seen this one. There's a lot of people that have been stitching it, and my friend Sharon on Instagram, Might As Well Stitch, is the one that enabled me to do this, because she was stitching it and posting her progress, and it looked so amazing that I had to get it. I tried to hold off for quite a while, but eventually I gave in. And then when I was telling my friends about it, Karen the Stitching Owl decided to join me, so she and I are stitching this together. She's farther along than I am, but this is where I am. I'm trying to remember who the designer is on this. It's gone right out of my head. If it doesn't come to me, I'll put it down below in the description. So yeah, I haven't gotten very far, but I am looking forward to working on it some more. This is 18 Count Mirage by Picture This Plus, and I am using the called for DMC. So those are my new starts. I do have 2 other new starts that I've started, but I've done just a teeny tiny amount that it's not even worth showing. So next time I'll show those. All right, so Whipgo. So for March, the 2 that were called were Summer Breeze, which is the Prairie Schooler that I just showed you. And for Whipgo, my goal is to do 1,500 stitches. And that allowed me to get this one finished. And then the other one for March is Black Roses by Owl Forest Embroidery. And I'm I'm stitching this with Laura from Stitching by the Shore, and there's a bunch of people stitching this. Andrew, the runner stitcher, Lynn at Those Missing Stitches, Stephanie at Cross Stitch the Globe. Those are the ones I can remember off the top of my head. I'm sure there's more. Sharon, Might As Well Stitch on Instagram. She's stitching it too. So this is where I've gotten to. I managed to get all the way across on the top. So this is how wide it's going to be, but it's very long. So I did 15 hours on this, and I think last time, I'm not sure exactly where I was last time. It was maybe over here somewhere. So this is 18 count antique white Ada, and I'm using DMC 310. So I have been enjoying that. It's going to take a long time. So those are March's Whipgos, and the Whipgo numbers for this month gave me Autumn Sampler by Blueberry Ridge Designs. And Laura is also stitching this one. She's doing it in a very different color of fabric and floss. Whereas I am doing the called for floss, which is Weeks Dye Works Rust, and Fiber on a Whim Cafe au Lait for the fabric, 18 count. And I reached the halfway point for Whipgo, and now I've gone beyond that. So this is the halfway point down here, and now I'm working up here. I think the edge is going to be over here. I'm almost at the edge over here. So I'm really enjoying it. It's, you know, there's some projects that you want to pull out all the time, and then there's some that you think, I don't really want to do it, but then, you know, when Whipgo, it pops up on Whipgo, then I do it whether I want to or not, and then once I get stitching on it, I start to really enjoy it, and that's what happened here. So this is part of a series, and I have the winter one ready to go when this one is finished. And the other Whipgo for April is Pretty Little India from Satsuma Street. And if you're new, one of my daughters is from India, so that's why I chose this one. And I love this style of chart. This is the first Satsuma Street that I've done. It's taking a long time. There are a lot of color changes, but I love how it looks. So today, this is because it's my Whipgo for April. I finished the autumn, the 1500 stitches on autumn already. So this one I pull out every morning and try and do 100 or 200 stitches to get that 1500. I'm almost done with the 1500 stitches for the month. So this is being stitched on Celestine by Fibre on a Whim, and I'm using the Call for DMC, and I'm working in rows on this one because this is very, very easy for me to mess up because of all the color changes. And so I'm working across each row and parking some threads. But I love the colors. So I barely reached the 50% point today, but I think the next 50% of it is more block stitching. I don't think it's quite as intense as the top half. So this may go faster than the other part. Okay, so those were my Whipgos. Now we can just look at my regular WIPS, which I have been pulling out for challenges. And so this last weekend on Whip Warriors, which is a Facebook group, which is a cross-stitch challenge group. And right now it's closed, but it opens once a year in November for new members. It is a group that requires participation. And this is my second year and I thoroughly enjoy it. So, excuse me. Every month they do a focus weekend and you choose one of your WIPs to focus on, usually from the Thursday through the Monday. So this time I chose American Sampler by Plum Street Samplers, and I worked on it from the Thursday through the Sunday night. And I get more stitching done during the week because people are at work and I'm here alone and it's quiet. But on the weekend it's busier, so I tend not to have as much time to stitch. So I was hoping to do 1,000 stitches on this, but I actually made it to 1556. So I was very happy at my progress. So this is it, American Sampler. So I am stitching this as charted, except for when I get to the words. My LNS charted these words to replace the other ones. So with life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So I will do that instead of what's there. So I was thrilled with the progress I made. This is a project that I love how it looks. I just never want to pull it out. And I've decided part of it is because these bigger projects I put on a larger Q-snap and they are not as comfortable for me to hold. And when I had the space for my Lowry stand, that wasn't an issue. But now I don't have enough space to put my stand here, so I hold the Q-snap. And it's just not as comfortable to stitch. And I think that's why I tend to pull out my smaller projects more, because I use the 8x8 Q-snap and it's just easier for me to handle. But once I pull these bigger ones out, I usually get caught up in them and really enjoy them when I'm working on it. So here we are. And last time I showed this, I'm sure I was over here and only had a little bit of the roof done. So I finished the roof and I did this column of bricks and mortar, and then I started coming over here with the bricks. So I was so glad to get that roof done. I don't like block stitching, but I was kind of not looking forward to doing all the bricks because Plum Street, what's their chart called? This is the Day, which is the big pink brick house. I did that last year, and that was that was a killer doing that house, because the bricks were done in, I want to say there were 4 or 5 different shades of pink. So you were, even though I like changing colors, it was a bit much. This one, the bricks only have 2 colors, with one of them being the majority. So, you know, I've left some spaces here, and that's for the other color. So that doesn't pop up very much. So you're not changing colors an awful lot on these bricks, which makes it easier. So now I'm really excited to get this house done. So it's helped me become more motivated to get this one done. I started it last year in June, so we're coming up on a year. And it would be great to get it done this year. But yeah, I love it. This is a 20 count vintage, 20 count vintage country mocha. I'm using the called for floss, which is mostly Weeks Dye Works, and using 1 strand. So. That's why I like the challenge groups. It's why I like the Whipgo, because it motivates me to pull out things that I wouldn't normally touch and get quite a bit of progress done on it. So my next WIP is one that I'm thoroughly enjoying, and this is by Little Dove Designs. And it's called Red Robin Breast. And this is it. I love it. I first saw it when Helen D was stitching it, and I love the fabric that she chose for it, so I chose something similar. So this fabric is a fabric flare. Let me see what it's called. It's 18 count aqua with either with snowflakes or with dots. I can't remember. So this is what I've done so far, and I just love it. I love how the colors are popping on here. So it's not a very big chart, but it's stitch intensive, so it's going to take a while. I think she has another bird similar. It's maybe a bluebird or something like that, that I may do when I finish this one. This is one I started with my friend Patty. She is Freakin' Froggin' on Instagram, and we started this together, and we both ended up having a lot of issues with having to frog it. So I haven't made a lot of progress on this, but this is by Robin Pickens and it's Pine Crossing. And I honestly don't know why it's been so difficult, but it has been. But I did get another tree completed, which I pulled it out for a challenge, and so I had this tree done and then I added this tree. So not a lot of progress, but it's something. And this is, I've had this fabric for years. Well, yeah, I think I've had this fabric for a long time. And it's 18 count. Can't remember. Yeah, I don't remember what it is. But I'm using the code for DMC. And hopefully I'll get some progress done on this because it's not super large. It shouldn't take forever. So it's 129 by 94. But I don't even remember when I started it, but I should have made a lot more progress on it. I kind of lost my stitchy bug for a couple of weeks. Normally I'll stitch on and off all day during the week. And but for a couple of weeks, you know, I was maybe doing an hour, maybe 2 on a good day. So yeah, I didn't like that, but I'm doing better now, which is good. So this was my birthday start last year. And I know that I've pulled it out either for the Focus, Whip Warriors Focus, or I'm thinking it might have been a Whipgo call. Yeah, in February, this was one of my Whipgo projects, so I've pulled it out quite a few times and made pretty good progress, I think. So this is by Jardin Prive. So composition Florale 1, 2, and 3. So it's 3 separate charts that I'm stitching together. And this is it stitched together right here. And this is where I am. So obviously I'm just working the outside border, and I've been down here working on this. It would be nice to get it done by my birthday this year, but since it's in a few weeks, I don't think that will be happening. But yeah, I really, really love the colors in here. This is 18 count antique white Ada using the code for DMC. So if you watch Mouse Potato Designs, she's also on Instagram. She posted her progress on this yesterday, I think. Of course, she makes wonderful changes and uses French knots for the flowers, and it looks amazing. The next one I've done a little bit of work on is Little House in the Forest by Luca-S. And I'm using all the kit materials. And this is where I am. So a lot of this that I'm working on right now is half cross stitch, so half stitch, or 10 stitch, I should say. So I'm really enjoying this. This is my first Luca-S kit. And I've been enjoying it. It goes into Pattern Keeper, which I love. Makes things so much easier. This one I pulled out for a challenge, and this is one I never want to pull out, but I love how it looks. So eventually I'll get it done. And this is called Christmas Reindeer, and I'm not going to say the name of the company because, I'll let you read that. So it's super cute, and the detail in it is fantastic. It's got so many colors. And this is a small chart. 95 by 90, but you're changing colors every 4 or 5 stitches, particularly where I'm working right now, which is up here. So it takes a long time to get anything done. And what I don't like is there's a lot of back stitching in here, and it's hard to read the chart sometimes because the backstitch lines. I'm sorry, I think my dog is going to start barking because you can hear the dogs in the neighborhood. It's a really nice day here today. I've got my windows open and she's getting primed to start joining in the conversation. So I apologize if she starts barking. Anyway, the backstitch lines they go over the other stitch symbols, and it can be hard to read. But I love how it looks. So I think last time I showed you this, I just had the face. So I've been working on the ear and her antler with the Maggie. Sorry, there's people walking along the trail. We have a trail right behind our house, and she likes to bark at the people walking along too. So anyway, I've been working up here, and it looks fantastic. It's just so time consuming. So this is 18 count Smoky Blue by Fabric Flare. This is one of my favorite fabrics to use for winter projects. So I will keep pulling her out, but I know it's going to take me a long time to get it done. And I haven't even, other than around her eyes, I haven't done any back stitching, which I know is I'm gonna regret that when I get to that point. So this is my last whip. And this is one that I will be finished with within the next week, I would imagine. So it's Happy Harvest by Sue Hillis Designs. And I really enjoy her designs. I love her choices of color, her shading. There's a lot of back stitching, but it kind of gives me a throwback to, you know, in the 90s when that was the thing. But I really enjoy how this looks. Oops. So I just have this last section to do. All these vegetables and everything, doing the back stitching on there was not fun, but it looks so good. So I've got this section and a little bit of back stitching up here to do, and then I will be done. This is 28 count. It's either mushroom or platinum Lugana. So I'm looking forward to getting that done. Those are my WIPS. Plans. So I have a few new starts planned. Going back to cross stitch in the forest. I am going to be stitching the woodpecker. I've got all my materials gathered for that. And Karen has already done this one. So, but the one we're going to do together next is Heron at Dawn. And I think Laura is going to join us in this one. So that will be fun. I had to order, doesn't matter how much fabric or DMC I have, I always have to order some more. But that came and I'm ready to go with those. And another new start that I'm planning, this will be my birthday start. And this is by Jardin Prive. Medallion sampler. Well, let's see. Sampler of medallions, I guess is what the English would be. So I've had this for at least a year and I want to get it started. So my birthday is in May, middle of May, and this is what I'll be starting, and I'm really looking forward to it. So there's not a lot of colors, considering how colorful it looks. What is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 colors. DMC, and I'm going to do it on, let's see, 20 count white Ada, so that the colors will pop. So those are my plans. Oh, one more. Oh, okay. This is gonna be a new start also, which is Balloon Glow by Dimensions Gold. And I talked about this last time, that I wasn't able to get it into Pattern Keeper. I had some lovely people reach out and say, give me lots of advice. I have not been able to get it into Pattern Keeper at all. And Katrina, the Crafty Cataloger, suggested I use GoodNotes and do it in there, but my iPad is old and GoodNotes won't work on it anymore because it needs an update, and my iPad just isn't supported anymore, so I don't have GoodNotes. So I'm just gonna use the paper charts like I used to do, and I used to do it and I used to never think twice about it, but now it's like such a hardship. But I'm going to start it. So those will all probably be started by the next time I see you. So that's all my stitching. I do have some haul. There was a sale on Durene Jones's Etsy shop a week or two ago, and I like all of her charts were $2.81. So I kind of went crazy on that one. But I don't have them ready to show you because they're all digital charts and I didn't sort them and pull up the pictures. So maybe next time I'll show you that. I bought 12 charts. Most of them were, she has sets of small ornament size charts, which is what I bought mostly. Maybe 3 larger charts, but anyway, I'll show you next time. Other than that, that's all my stitching. So if that's all you're here for, thank you for joining me. I hope you'll come back next time. I hope you are well and that you are finding lots of time to stitch. So thank you. Life, there's not a ton going on, and yet there is a ton going on, if you know what I mean. Everything's fine overall. We found a lovely young couple to rent our basement apartment, and they will be moving in on May 1st. So we were very happy about that. We had to take Maggie to the vet again. Her allergies flared up and she ended up with an eye infection and a hot spot on her face. So she had to wear the cone of shame for a few days and do the antibiotic stuff and eye drops and eye creams and all that stuff. She's fine now, but when she had to wear the cone, she literally thought she couldn't move, so she would become paralyzed, which was really sad, but it was also funny too. So we would have to take it off so she could eat and go to the bathroom. But yeah, that was not fun. But she's fine. She's absolutely fine now. What else? My stepson's coming up this weekend to pick up a tractor. He lives on 7 acres in a small town about 4 hours away from here. And now that spring's here, he's getting ready to do a lot of work on the land. So he and his friend are coming up to pick up a tractor. So they're going to stay here Friday night. And then he and Barry, his friend, and my husband Steve and Katrina are going to head out to pick up the tractor and go to lunch, and then Barry and Nick will head home. So I'll have Saturday morning, which will be nice and quiet, so I'll be able to get some stitching done then. But yeah, other than that, there's not a lot going on. We're finally getting some nice weather. We got a lot of our snow in March and the beginning of April. But now they said we'll be 80 degrees by the weekend. So today it's about 70 degrees and yeah, it's really nice. So I hope that all of you are well. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all your lovely comments and your support. And until next time, take care and happy stitching. Bye for now.